This is Aftermath. This is an original one-act play written by me, Lord Tarmak Ben Yehuda Al-Khazari, known outside of the society as Richard Mandel. I will be assisted tonight by Master Brendan O'Corey. I will start in just a moment.
Oh, so much to clean up.
It would be unseemly to leave that mess, though. The flies, the smell.
Aye, the stables are sweeter. And after feasts, there are sometimes interesting finds within the straw.
Yeah, there was that gold sovereign I once discovered.
A lot of good that did you. A few drinks at the taverner's and them bragging how you would buy rounds for everyone because of your newfound wealth, and nearly beaten to death by robbers who took an interest in you. Good on you, I came along when I did.
You always were a good friend.
Well, we managed to see each other through hard times. Done that a long time. I swore to watch for your back, and you did the same, and here we are. Not like that lot upstairs.
Yeah, I expect we will need soon to find a new situation.
Oh, of course we will, but we got talents. That and strong backs. Men like us, we adapt. Work will not be hard to get.
Funny that, all those well-dressed, sweet-smelling dandies we serve, they lose their money and their stations, and they wither like uprooted roses. But there's always room in the world for the one who could pull a weed or two.
As it always has been, Master Walford. It is to our advantage, we low nobles of the dust.
And the sea, Master Walford.
Right you are.
We could be merchant seamen.
No.
Why not?
Because men like us need a road out when our affairs become untidy. The only roads off a ship of sea are either a brig or the belly of a shark. We were lucky that boatswain owed you a favor. Surely I would not set sail again, not least without your quick-witted company.
There cannot be much to keep from shipmates over the course of a voyage, but that gambling debt is paid and we live for another day.
Simple my labor for my simple life, ale in my mug, the best kind of wife.
A girlie have I in every town, so be a good friend and pour the next round.
So, we stay on land. Travel again, watch out for robbers, and find employment when our purses become hungry.
Plenty of villages. Someone can always use a couple of extra hands, even if they just feed us enough to continue on.
Well, anyone can see from our hands that we fear no work. Look at my fingers and palms, hardened and calloused as yours. We can dig, scrub, and carry with the best of them.
Truth that is. Then they find we have other abilities, and there we are taken into confidence.
Need someone betrayed? We can do it.
Need someone to quietly disappear? My friend and I can do it.
And for a few more coins, your name is left clean and pure.
We never gouge the price.
Not when we have knives with which to gouge.
Perhaps that is how we became handy at cleaning up blood. We helped spill enough.
Well, cleaned up after ourselves. Nice, tidy work.
I should wonder what being a clerk would be like.
Silently balancing dusty old ludges all day, we would be dulled to madness in a week.
Well, what would you rather do?
Well, as before, we need to finish here. No one is left upstairs to name us out, so we should be able to gain a nice letter when the job's done.
Perhaps collect a few trinkets that can be sold quickly.
A few small pretties that can be tucked into a traveling bag.
We can get a few provisions for the road from the kitchen. I know someone there who should be helpful.
Then the road for us. Which direction, think you?
South, I think. Lots of small villages in Germany. We should be in time for the harvest. And hey, France would be nice too.
Agreed. And there are yet a few months to work and sleep beneath the stars before we need to find shelter against the winter storm. Perhaps we can again find a local noble who needs fresh allegiances.
To allegiances.
And a good ale.
To earning our pay.
And spending it the same day.
A fine pair of rogues are we.
Solid as silver candlesticks.
Close as paternoster beads.
Your good health, Master Walford.
And yours, Master Smith.
Well, we should get back upstairs and finish tidying up. We can start out at first light tomorrow.
Nasty business that was. Easier to clean up from slash and stabbings than poisonings. Nasty business.
Have you ever noticed how history remembers the powerful while writing the backs of men like you and I? Great soldiers are nothing without their troops who fight and die for the cause.
What are leaders without those whom they lead?
Absolutely. Mighty trees grow in forests, but they start from small seeds.
Seeds that are carried by wind and lesser creatures.
We are those lesser creatures, my friend, carrying seeds of change here and there.
Call me mouse? Then you are verily a bag of wind.
Oh, no mouse you, sir. But how much damage may one mouse do the farmer?
Or two mice, but we should be aware of cats lurking about. I may have drunk a bit much of this good sack.
Well, we've earned it. We've done good service to those who hired us. No shame that the mice live, while the royal cats ride out on funereal carts.
The prince was not a bad fellow. Poor prince.
Truth that, but he brooded much. Else, our affairs here are done.
Well, just a bit more sweeping then. Do you suppose that one day we might settle and reclaim our birthright names, Master Rosencrantz?
Hard to say just now. After you, Master Guilderstern.
In fair Verona, where in times of strife and all gentles remain in quarantine, 2 suitors court this lady for their wife, but balcony is now replaced with screen. Upon their art these gentles must rely, with scholars' words and minstrels' lofty tune, to mask their charms neath this cunning disguise, and hope to make the fair Bianca swoon. Lutentia with philosopher's verse, and Hortensia with his soulful lute, will ply their fair trade for better or worse, as long as they remember to unmute. So lend an ear and join our room, as these 2 gentles battle over Zoom.
Fiddler, forbear. You grow too forward, sir. Have you so soon forgot the entertainment her sister Catherine welcomed you withal?
But, wrangling pedant, this is the patroness of heavenly harmony. Then give me leave to have prerogative. And when in music we have spent an hour, your lecture shall have leisure for as much.
Preposterous ass, that never read so far to know the cause why music was ordained. Was it not to refresh the mind of man after his studies or his usual pain? Then give me leave to read philosophy, and while I pause, serve in your harmony.
Sirrah, I will not bear these braves of thine.
Why, gentlemen, You do me double wrong to strive for that which resteth in my choice. I am no breaching scholar in the schools. I'll not be tied to hours nor appointed times, but learn my lessons as I please myself, and to cut off all strife, here sit we down. Take your instrument, pray you. Play you the while. His lecture will be done ere you've tuned.
You'll leave his lecture when I'm in tune.
That'll be never. Tune your instrument.
Where last we left.
Here, madam. Hic ibat simois, hic est sigia tellus, hic steterat priami regia celsa senis.
Consider them?
Hic ibat, as I told you before, simois, I am Lucentio. Hic est, son unto Vicentio of Pisa. Sigia tellus, disguised thus to get your love. Hic steterat, and that Lucentio that comes a wooing, Priami, is my man Tranio. Regia, bearing my port. Celsa senis, that we might beguile the old pantaloon.
Madam, my instrument is in tune.
Let's hear it. Phi, the treble jars.
Spin the whole man in tune again.
Now, let's see if I can consider it. Hic abat simios. I know you not. Hic est sagittallius. I trust you not. Hic serate priami. Take heed he hear us not? Regia, presume not. Celsia senes. Despair not.
Madam, 'tis now in tune.
All but the bass.
The bass is fine, 'tis the bass knave that jars. How fiery and forward our pedant is. Now for my life, the knave doth court my love. Ha, pedestal, I'll watch ye better yet.
Now, in time, I may believe, yet I mistrust.
Mistrust it not. For sure Alcides was Ajax called so from his grandfather.
I must believe my master, else I promise you I should be arguing still upon that doubt. But let it rest. Now, Leto, to you. Good master, take it not unkindly, pray, that I have been thus pleasant with you both.
You may go walk and give me leave a while. My lessons make no music in 3 parts.
Are you so formal, sir? Well, I must wait. And watch withal, for but I be deceived, a fine musician groweth amorous.
Madam, before you touch the instrument, to learn the order of my fingering, I must begin with rudiments of art to teach you gamut of a briefer sort, more pleasant, pithy, and effectual than hath been taught by any of my trade. And in writing, it is fairly drawn.
Why, I am past my gamut long ago.
Yet read the gamut of Hortensio.
Gamut I am, the ground of all accord. To plead Hortensio's passion, Bianca, take him for thy lord. That loves with all affection, one cleft, 2 notes have I. Show pity or I die. You call this gamut. I like it not. Old fashions please me best. I am not so nice to change true rules for odd inventions. Oh.
Mistress, your father prays you leave your books and help to dress your sister's chamber up. You know tomorrow is the wedding day.
Farewell, sweet masters both. I must be gone.
Faith, mistress, then I have no cause to stay.
Yet I have cause to pry into this pedant. He thinks he looks as though he were in love. If they thought, Bianca, be so humble to cast thy wandering eye upon every stale, seize that thee list. If once I catch thee ranging, Hortensio will be quit with thee by changing.
Hervor sailed to Munarvegar, where her father and his men were buried, to bid her father's ghost give her the cursed sword Tyrving.
Awaken, Angantyr, hearken to me. The only daughter of Tofa and thee is here and bids thee awake. Give me, from out the barrow's shade, the keen-edged sword which the dwarfs once made for Svafarlami's sake. Hervarth, Hjovarth, Angantyr, and Hrani, under the tree roots here, I bid you now appear, clad in harness and coat of mail, with shield and broadsword of biting steel, helmet and reddened spear. The sons of Arngrim are changed indeed to heaps of dust, and Ifura's seed has crumbled into mold. In Murnavegar will no one speak to her who has come thus far to seek discourse with the men of old? Hervarth, Hjovarth, Angantyr, and Hrani, great be your torment here, if you will not hear my words. Give me the blade that Dvalin made. It is ill becoming the ghostly dead to keep such costly swords. In your tortured ribs shall my curses bring a maddening itch and a frenzied sting till you writhe in agonies, as if you were laid to your final rest where the ants are swarming within their nest and reveling in your thighs.
O Hervor, daughter, why dost thou call words full of cursing upon us all? Thou goest to meet thy doom. Mad art thou grown, and thy wits are fled. Thy mind is astray, that thou wakest the dead, the dwellers in this tomb.
Naught save the truth shalt thou tell to me. May the ancient gods deal ill with thee, if thou withhold Tyrfing there. Thine only daughter am I, and yet unwilling thou art that I should get that which belongs to thine heir.
The barrows are opening. Before thy gaze the round of the island is all ablaze, and the gates of hell stand wide. There are spectres abroad that are ghastly to see. Return, little maiden, right hastily to thy ship that waits on the tide.
No funeral fire that burns by night can make me tremble with affright or fear of awful doom. Thy daughter's heart can know no fear, though a ghost before her should appear in the doorway of the tomb.
Hervor, Hervor, hearken to me. Naught save the truth will I tell to thee that will surely come about. Believe me, maiden, Tyrving will be a curse upon all thy progeny till thy race be blotted out. A son shalt thou bear, as I prophesy, who shall fight with Tyrving mightily, and trust to Tyrving's might. I tell thee, Hythrek shall be his name, the noblest man, and of greatest fame of all under heaven's light.
On all you dead this curse I cry, mouldering and rotting shall you lie with the spirits in the tomb. Out of the barrow, Angantyr, give me the keen-edged Tyrfing here, the sword called Hjalmar's doom.
Surely unlike to a mortal, thou, to wander about from how to how, and stand in the doorway here. In the horror of night-time, my little maid, thou comest with helmet and byrnie and blade, and shakest thy graven spear.
A mortal maiden is she who comes, rousing the corpses within their tombs, and will not be denied. Give me, from out the barrow's shade, the keen-edged sword that the dwarf folk made, which it ill becomes thee to hide.
The sword that the death stroke to Hjalmar gave lies under my shoulders within the grave, and wrapped about with flame. But that maiden lives not in any land who dare grasp the weapon within her hand for any hope of fame.
There lives, O Angantyr, a maid who yearns to handle the keen-edged blade, and such a maid am I. And what care I, though the tomb fires blaze? They sink and tremble before my gaze, they quiver out and die.
O Hervor, 'tis folly and madness dire to rush wide-eyed through the flaming fire with courage undismayed. Rather by far will I give to thee the accursed sword, though unwillingly, my little tender maid.
O son of the Vikings, well hast thou done in giving me Tyrfing from out the tomb, and happier am I today that I now grasp Tyrfing within my hands, than if I were queen of the broad Northlands and conqueror of Norway.
Vain is thy rapture, my luckless maid. Thy hopes are false. All too soon will fade the flush of joy from thy face. Try, child, to listen. I am warning thee. This sword is the sword of destiny, the destroyer of all thy race.
Away, away to my ocean steed. The daughter of princes is glad indeed, oh glad at heart today. And what care I for the destiny of children as yet undreamed by me? Let them quarrel as they may.
Thou shalt have and enjoy without sorrow or pain the blade which proved to be Hjalmar's bane, if thou draw it not from its sheath. Worse than a plague is this cursed thing. Touch not its edges, for poisons cling above it and beneath. Farewell, yet fain would I give to thee the life that has passed from my brothers and me. O daughter, 'tis truth I say, the strength and vigor and hardihood, all that we had that was great and good, that has vanished and passed away.
Farewell, farewell to all you dead. Farewell, I would that I were sped. Farewell, all you in the mound. Surely in terror I drew my breath between the worlds of life and death, when the grave fires girt me round.
I am Shinjo Takame. I'm from the Kingdom of Lockhart, from the Barony of Rowaney, and I am the writer of the play short skit, Who's on the Field, which is a variation from Abbott and Costello's Who's on First.
I am the Honourable Lord Declan O'Drowader. I also hail from Lockhart, from the Barony of Innisfore, and I am Shinjo's partner in crime for this performance this evening. Hear ye, presenting our next two combatants for the Crown Tournament. With a sword and shield we have Sir Who, and with a polearm we have Sir What. Combatants, make your salutes and lay on.
Great tournament. Can you tell me the name of the guy with the sword and shield?
Who?
The guy with the sword.
Who?
That guy there with the sword.
Who?
That guy there with the sword and shield.
Who has the sword and shield?
That's what I'm asking you. What's the guy's name?
No. What is the guy with the polearm? Who has the sword and shield?
That's what I want to know. Okay. So I can fight. If I were fighting that guy there with the guy with the sword and shield, who would I be fighting?
Yes.
Oh, yes is the guy I'd be fighting.
No, yes was knocked out earlier. Who is the guy you would be fighting?
The guy with the sword and shield.
Who?
The guy I'd be fighting.
Who is the guy you would be fighting?
The guy with the sword and shield. What is his name?
I just told you what has the polearm. Who has the sword and shield?
But I'm asking you. I don't know.
No, I don't know is over there, and she is the marshal.
What do you mean you don't know the marshal?
No, I don't know is the marshal.
You don't know her name?
I do.
Then tell me.
I don't know.
What is her name?
No, what is the guy with the polearm?
I want to know about the marshal. Tell me her name.
I don't know.
You said you knew her name.
I do.
Then tell me it.
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No, I remember. I don't know.
Is that your king?
Yes, that's the king.
Is he good?
I think he is.
Tell me his name.
He's nobody.
He is? Well, the king is usually somebody.
He's not somebody. Somebody was king last year. He's nobody.
But he's a king. I want to know his name.
He's nobody.
But he's a king. He has to have a name.
He does. He's nobody.
Well, tell me the queen's name then.
It's a surprise.
It is? Then tell me.
I just did.
No, you didn't.
I told you her name. It's a surprise.
But I'm still waiting for you to tell me. What is the queen's name?
No, what is that guy there with the polearm?
Okay, so back to the guy with the sword and shield. Say I'm fighting now. The guy with the sword and shield. You still with me?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the herald. You announce my name. Got that?
Yes.
You announce my opponent, and his name is...
Who?
The guy with the sword and shield. His name is...
Who?
The guy I'm fighting. Who is he?
Yes.
I'm not fighting, yes. I'm fighting that guy. He's got his sword, and he's very good, and he stabbed me in the face. So who has stabbed me?
Yes. Who has stabbed you?
No, I want you to tell me who stabbed me.
Who stabbed you?
The guy with the sword. He stabbed me.
Yes. Who did?
The guy with the sword.
Yes. Who is good at stabbing people?
Who is?
Yes.
But who stabbed me?
That's right. Who stabbed you? He stabbed you right in the face.
Who did?
Yes.
I'm not fighting, yes. Who is the guy I'm fighting?
Yes.
Whatever.
No, that's my name.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Neighbors, friends of the house of Cadmus and the king, there's not a thing in this mortal life of ours I'd praise or blame as settled or unsettled once for all. Fortune lifts and fortune fells the lucky and unlucky every day. No prophet on this earth can tell a man his fate. Take Creon. There is a man to rouse your envy once, as I see it. He saved the realm from enemies. He took power. He alone, Lord of the motherland. He set us true on course. He flourished like a tree with a great line of sons he bred and reared. And now it's lost. It's all gone. Believe me, when a man has squandered his true joys, he's as good as dead, a living corpse. Pile up riches in your house as much as you like. Live like a king with a great show of pomp. But if real delight is missing from the lot, I wouldn't give you a wisp of smoke for it, not compared with joy.
What now? What new grief do you bring the house of kings?
Dead. Dead, and the living are guilty of their death.
Who's the murderer? Who is dead? Tell us.
Haman's gone. Her blood spilled by the very
Her
hand.
father's or her own?
Her own, raging mad at her father for the death.
Oh, great seer, you saw it all. You brought your word to birth.
Those are the facts. Deal with them as you will.
Look, Eurydice, Poor woman, Creon's wife, so close at hand. By chance, perhaps, unless she's heard the news about her daughter.
My countrymen, all of you, I caught the sound of your words as I was leaving to do my part, to appeal to Queen Athena with my prayers. I was just loosening the bolt, opening the doors, when a voice filled with sorrow, family sorrow, struck my ears, and I fell back terrified into my woman's arms. Everything went black. Tell me the news. Again, whatever it is, sorrow and I are hardly strangers. I can bear the worst.
Dear lady, I'll speak as an eyewitness. I was there, and I won't pass over one word of the truth. Why should I try to soothe you with a story and be proven a liar the next moment? Truth is always best. I escorted your lord, guided him to the edge of the plain where the body lay. Polynices, torn by the dogs and still unmourned. Saying a prayer to Hecate of the crossroads, Pluto too, to hold their anger and be kind, we washed the dead in a bath of holy water. And plucking some fresh branches and gathering what was left of him, we burned them all together and raised a high mound of earth. And then we turned and made for that rocky vault of hers, the hollow empty bed of the bride of death. And far off, one of us heard a voice, a long wail rising, echoing out of that unhallowed wedding chamber. He ran to alert the master, and Creon pressed on, closer. The strange, inscrutable cry came sharper, throbbing around him now, and he let loose a cry of his own, enough to wrench the heart.
Oh, God. Am I the prophet now? Going down the darkest road I've ever gone? My daughter. It's her dear voice. She greets me. Go, men, closer. Quickly, go through the gap. The rocks are dragged back to the tomb's very mouth. And look, see if it's Haman's voice I think I hear, or the gods have robbed me of my senses.
The king was shattered. We took his orders, went and searched, and there, in the deepest dark recesses of the tomb, we found her, Antigone, hanged by the neck in her red linen noose, strangled in her veils. And Haman, her arms flung around the dead girl's waist, clinging to her, wailing for her bride dead and down below, for her father's crimes and the bed of her marriage blighted by misfortune. When Creon saw her, he gave a deep sob. He ran in shouting, crying out to her.
Oh, my child, what have you done? What seized you? What insanity? What disaster drove you mad? Come out, my child. I beg you on my knees.
But the girl gave him a wild, burning glance, spat in his face, not a word in reply. She drew her dagger. Her father rushed out, running as Haman lunged and missed. And then, doomed, desperate with herself, suddenly leaning her full weight on the blade, she buried it in her body, halfway to the hilt. And still in her senses, pouring her arms around Antigone, she embraced the girl and, breathing hard, released a quick rush of blood, bright red, onto her cheek glistening white. And there they lie, body enfolding body. Each has won her bride at last, poor girls. Not here, but in the house of the dead. Creon shows the world that of all the ills afflicting men, the worst is lack of judgment.
What do you make of that? The lady's gone, without a word, good or bad.
I'm alarmed too, but here's my hope. Faced with Haman's death, she finds it unbecoming to mourn in public. Inside, under her roof, she'll set her women to the task and wail the sorrow of the house. She's too discreet. She won't do something rash.
I'm not so sure. To me, at least, a long, heavy silence promises danger, just as much as a lot of empty outcries.
We'll see if she's holding something back, hiding some passion in her heart. I will go. You may be right. Who knows? Even too much silence has its dangers.
King himself coming toward us, damned by his own madness, no one else's. No, his own blind wrongs.
Oh, my crimes. So senseless, so insane. My stubborn, deadly. Look at us. The killer, the killed, father and child. The same blood. All the misery. My plans, my mad, fanatic heart, my daughter cut off so young, I dead, gone from the world. Not through her stupidity, no, my own.
Too late. Too late. Do you see what justice means?
Oh, I've learned through blood and tears. Then, it was then when the gods came down and struck me, a great weight, shattering, driving me down that wild, savage path, ruining, trampling down my joy. The agony, the heartbreaking agony of our lives.
Esther, what a hoard of grief you have, and you'll have more. The grief that lies to hand you've brought yourself. The rest, in the house, you'll see all too soon.
What now? What's worse than this?
The queen is dead. Mother to this girl, mother to the end. Poor thing, her wounds are fresh.
No. No. Harbor of death, so choked, so hard to cleanse. Why me? Why are you killing me, herald of pain? More words, more grief. I died once, you killed me again and again. What's the report, girl? Some news for me? My wife dead. Oh, dear God, slaughter heaped on slaughter.
See for yourself. Now they bring her body from the palace.
Oh no. Another. Second loss to break the heart. What next? What fate still waits for me? I just held my daughter in my arms and lay her in the ground. And now look, a new corpse rising before my eyes. Wretched, helpless mother, oh my child.
She stabbed herself at the altar. Then her eyes went dark. After she'd raised a cry for the noble fate of Megarius, the hero killed in the first assault, then for Haman. Then with her dying breath, she called torments on your head. You killed her children.
Oh, the dread. I shudder with dread. Why not kill me too? Run me through with a good sharp sword. The misery, anguish, I'm churning with it, going under.
Yes. And the dead, the woman lying there, piles the guilt of their deaths on you.
How did she end her life? What bloody stroke?
She drove home to the heart with her own hand. Once she learned her child was dead, that agony,
and the guilt is all mine. Can never be fixed on another man. No escape. For me, I killed you. My God, help me. I admit it all. Take me away. Out of sight. I don't even exist. I'm no one, nothing.
Good advice. If there's any good in suffering, quickest is best when troubles block the way.
Come. Let it come. That best of fates for me that brings the final day, best fate of all. Oh, quickly now. So I never have to see another sunrise.
That will come when it comes. We must deal with all that lies before us. The future rests with the ones who tend the future.
That prayer! I poured my heart into that prayer!
No more prayers now. For mortal men, there is no escape from the doom we must endure.
Take me away. I beg of you. Out of sight. A rash, indiscriminate fool. I murdered you, my daughter, against my will. You too, my wife. Wailing wreck of a man whom to look to, where to lean for support. Whatever I touch goes wrong. Once more crushing fates come down upon my head.
Wisdom is by far the greatest part of joy.
And reverence toward the gods must be safeguarded.
Mighty words of the proud are paid in full with mighty blows of fate.
And at long last, those blows will teach us